I will say to persons entering into any co-application process, anything at all, you must assess the nature of the relationship you have with the person.
Finances in relationships, boy, this is a tough one that a lot of people are not having this conversation, but we're gonna have it today. I'm your host, Blair Milan, and we are sponsored by Boss Destination, CPJ Beverages, Karmen's Kollection, Irie Beanz, Ultra Petroleum, and the Striker Bunny Lee Museum. So today we'll be discussing finances in relationships. Is it my money? Is it your money? Or is it our money? So today I have with me Chenessa Brown, mom of two and business owner. Say hey to the people.
Hi.
And Ryan, the expert on the topic that can tell us all about finances in relationships and marriage. As a almost 25 years. Wow. Guys, this is goals. All right, goals right here. So let's jump right into it. So finances, it's a big thing. And I feel like this is the major thing that causes divorce in this country and many other countries if we look at the statistics, right? So Ryan, in your view, do you feel like, let me ask this question first, I feel like this one, when I start, it's spicy, So when you enter into a relationship, do you see it as your money, her money, or is it our money?
All right, that's a very good question. But of course, I'll tell you that I'm old school. So as a male, I think that when I enter a relationship, my money is taking care of us.
Right.
Your money, you can do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
So that's my perspective on finance. So ever since I've been in my relationship, I've been the one who takes care of all the bills and the necessary stuff. But I just think it's my duty to do.
Right.
So, and I guess it lasts 25 years and counting,
Amen.
so it must be working.
Right? All right. Listeners, I hope when they're hearing this. So, Chenessa, what's your view on it?
I agree 100%. because the man should be like the provider, the protector,
Right.
and we are the nurturer,
Right.
and we ensure that you come home to a nice, clean, safe home. So you work the money,
Yeah.
you spend it not just on us,
Right.
but on the household
Right.
to turn the house into a home. The money that we work, we use that and, take care of ourselves and little things around the house. But now, so we can spend it back upon our partner,
Right.
Because, we treat our partner every now and again and take care of ourselves and stuff. So I agree with you 100%. I like that.
Okay. All right. So, but what about for the men now? Because, there are men and there are women as well that don't think that way. There are women that feel like they want to go 50-50. And there are men that feel like, yeah, not unless we're on a certain level, like I'm even going to spend on you. Some men just said, no. You spend your money. I spend my money. My money is my money. Your money, and then there are women who think, my money is my money, but your money is our money. But that you don't think like that. You know what I mean? So how do you, what advice would you give to those people? Like, what do you think is going on in their head? Why this is the case?
Well, the truth is, relationship, as the word suggests, is relating. It's two people, two value system coming together to make one.
Right.
Now, the fact that I have a perspective on how I operate within my relationship doesn't make it either right or wrong for somebody else to adopt another perspective. So what I would say is, if you have a perspective that 50-50 is your way, and your partner that you're also with is also good with 50-50, then that's a match made in heaven, because the perspective align. But where you have a challenge is if one partner believes in 50-50,
And the other one
whilst the other does not, then that's a recipe for disaster.
Definitely.
And I personally would encourage persons to move ahead with that perspective, you will have conflict.
Right. So I have another question for you. When persons are entering into a relationship, although I know you said, once you've started your relationship, fine. But do you think persons who are new, it's a new relationship, do you think that they should have a joint bank account or, buy a home together or do any form of, big spending then, and they have not gotten married as yet?
For me, it's not marriage per se that would determine whether you do joint goals.
Right.
Because you have persons who are in common relationship for years and they find a way to make it work.
Right.
And it all depends on time you spend with each other, how you understand each other, and where your future goals are. Right. And if that align married or unmarried, is not either here or there as to how you do it. It all depends on the relationship.
Right.
If you don't trust each other, then don't do it.
Don't do it.
So, Chenessa, what's your take on it?
Okay, so I've heard conversations surrounding marriage saying that, if you don't put a ring on it, I'm not going to cook for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to clean. I'm not going to do a joint account because I'm not your wife. I'm not going to do certain things. Sure. But however, this is what I'm saying. If you really want to marry that person, you have to act like it. Like both of y'all have to act like you want to get married. Because I can't be living in a household where you're not acting like my husband, my future husband, and I'm not acting like your future wife. So it puts a dent in the relationship. Like, if I should marry you, then you're going to start doing this stuff.
Right.
Like, I don't trust that.
Yeah.
So we have to, work together to see that, this deserve a wedding. Like, this deserve a ring. And, and just, because a lot of persons believe in 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't, because if my partner is the sole provider and he falls short in a couple of months and I see where I can manage, that wouldn't be 50-50, right? That would be maybe a 70-30, a 90-10.
Right,
I remember it's a relationship, you work together.
Right.
So you can't be strict on the 50-50 rule.
Exactly.
Because at times, persons might be down financially, emotionally, so you have to just connect and just come together to make it 100%.
Yeah, wow. I agree with that. 100%. Because as you said, sometimes he might be the sole provider, but you can provide things in different ways. As you said, as a woman, you're a nurturer, so you make sure that even though you're working, you still, as a mother, you go out and you work, and then you go and you work, and then you're a mom. You come home, that's your second job. Then you come and you cook and make sure that the children eat, and you make sure that your husband eats, and then you make sure that, you do your duties, and then you go to your bed and you start all over again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you build together. You're not just, because he's making the money. Say he comes up with an idea and you're there and you're like, yeah, man, why don't add this and that and that and that? That is you building together. That's you adding value to what it is that he's doing. So, when people, because there are men that say, but she never did nothing. She never met me get this, or whatever, because you didn't actually physically do anything, but you were there. You were there from grown up. You were supporting. You're playing a supporting role.
Emotionally. When you come home and tell me that, hey, say John do this to me and him do that to me, I'm there boosting you up and be like, no, John is supposed to do that. And, making you feel better mentally.
Right.
It's just that emotional comfort that I give you.
And I would say the common misconception I think people have in life in general is they think money is the only thing that is of value.
Right.
But value differs from person to person.
Right.
Because if I value just the fact that I can come home to a cooked meal, peace and comfort, that is like $1 million for me.
Right.
Versus somebody would probably give me some money, but I'm in living hell. I don't want to go home. I want to spend time at the bar.
Right.
You know, so value is really not just the note. It's really the what is being added to the person to advance their lives.
Right. So, Ryan, you being the expert finance man, what advice would you give to young people who are in a relationship and they're trying to buy a home, you know, do this big purchase, yeah? It's not a car. Well, cars are coming like you're buying a property. But I mean, if you're, you know, a big purchase, like they're buying home, buying a home, apartment, whatever it is, townhouse. And then it doesn't work out. Like, would you advise any young person that said they come to you and they say, hey, you know, I'm thinking I want to purchase this home with my partner, but they're not sure. And then they buy the property. And then, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 months down the line, they're like, we need to figure this out because it never work out. Like, what advice would you give to those people?
All right. So, first, I will say the person's entering into any application process to purchase anything at all. You must assess the nature of the relationship you have with the person. If things go bad, is this person someone I want to encounter in a tangle with? You must ask those questions before you even enter. Do I see at least a forever with this person, whether married or not? Right. Because we all know that life at times, and with the best perspective that we see forever, it may not work out whether you're married or not. But if it is a case that it's a desperation that is leading the decision to co-apply, I would say stay away from it. Okay. But if it is really a solid relationship and you've gone through some time and you think that, all right, this person I see some future with, and you're at that place collectively, then I'd say by all means.
Time, because time to you might not be time to me, because you might take 5 years to say, yeah, man, this is my person. I might take 1 year and say, yeah, I'm ready to marry this person. I want to buy a house with this person. You know what I'm saying? So how do you really determine time? Because everybody has a different timeline.
And I totally agree with you, which is why I never said 5 years.
I know.
I said time, because in different perspective, persons could fall in love in 1 month. Persons could in 1 year. True. But guess what happened to each his own? But as I'm saying, there must be a level of comfort that you honestly feel that you're entering into a business relationship with someone and not desperation. It shouldn't be a case that is leading you from the point that I need a home right now. So anybody I catch who is eligible, I'm going to join, because that's a recipe for disaster. So I would not encourage that type of business relationship.
Okay. All right. Do you agree with that, Chenessa?
I agree with you, Ryan. Because you see, take time out of it. But you have to know the person. You know, sometimes we're in a relationship with some manipulative men and we know how them stay.
And women.
Them love take back things. Yes,
wow.
Them love take back things. First of all, so, for example, if you're with your partner and he's the type of person that he buys you a car, and then when things not go for him when he begs, he'll be like, oh, you know, I want back the car and stuff like that.
Wow.
But you guys are still together.
Right.
Then it's a no-brainer. Why would you even buy a property with that person?
Because that person can easily put you out.
Yes.
Until you come out of my house.
Exactly. Yeah. And even buy you out. Right. Even if you don't want to be bought out, but they can force you out and you don't want that. So it all boils down to the person for me, not just time, because you can be with a person for 10 years and they're just not your person, but I don't know why, but people still in that relationship.
Right.
And then you can be with someone for like 2 or 3 years and they're showing your husband like vibe. Like,
That's
you know,
so true.
let's get a bank account together now. Let's take vacations.
Let me take care of you.
Yes, let's buy properties together. Let's
Right.
open businesses together.
Yeah.
So, you know, it all boils down, as I said, to the person and their personality, their
Definitely.
character. Yes.
Definitely.
It speaks a lot.
So I just thought about something while you guys were saying that. So, you know, just as when people are getting married, well, not everybody does it, but you know, it's something that I think people should really strongly do, which is premarital counseling. So when entering into certain financial situations with your partner, I feel like there should be some form of therapy, pre-financial relationship. I don't know. Something, because when you're really thinking about it, being in a relationship, finance is a big thing. It's a huge thing, whether we like to think about it or not, whether we're doing 50-50, whether the man is the sole provider, it doesn't matter. It is a huge thing. I think there should be some form of, not just a conversation between you and him, because okay, maybe some people, them can manage them thing fine. But for persons who don't necessarily, you know, understand and they don't have a strong partner that understand finances, the two of them can be in trouble.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that you I don't know. Maybe somebody will come up with the idea after, you know, we've had this, this airs. But I'm just thinking, we should have that conversation.
And I agree. And I agree with you. And for therapy or counseling session, it doesn't necessarily have to be the formal setting as
Right, which is what I'm saying. But speaking specifically on finances and how to,
Let's say you're going to a financial institution to take the loan. It is probably important to visit that institution together, ask all the questions, the good, the bad, the indifference. If it don't work out, what's happening? So that you can really be empowered with information. So you can really say, you know, I don't think we are ready for this at this point based on the data gathered.
Right.
You know, so as well as you can take it the other route where you can take like an expert outside of the financial realm just to ask the questions that you are not probably comfortable asking yourself. So that you can get the answers, so you can really make informed decisions.
Right, because you could go to the financial institution together, and while you're there, as you said, you guys realize, boy, you know, maybe I didn't like how he responded to something, or I didn't like how she responded to something, and that just made you second guess it and go, should we really be doing this?
Money is a very touchy topic.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes down to relationships.
Yeah.
Very, like, majority of relationships fail.
Because of money.
Not because of cheating, you know?
No,
but because of money.
Yeah. And then sometimes it's because, you know, some women go into the relationship thinking the man is doing a particular thing, he's able to provide, and he puts up this facade in the beginning that he can pay for this, he can pay for that, and then maybe by the 4th month now, things kind of, him realize that him can't really keep up with you.
Right.
And he wasn't really honest about his finances, and so gonna end up in a problem because you're like, but I thought X, Y, and Z, and then he's like, yeah, but he was trying to impress you.
Right. And instead of getting to understand all of that and give a second chance and say, okay, let's just start over and just, you know, pencil and paper. You'll be like, no, like,
because you're deceptive.
Yeah, because you're coming at the relationship promising me
the world.
And then you take out a week, you take, all right, you go 8 years and you get an audit from me, and then 6 months down the line, like, the
them come back for that.
Yeah, like I thought you could afford it.
Right.
So I alluded to time.
Time
is a master.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right.
As I can tell you, you can't fake real.
You can't.
Very, very loud.
Exactly.
Sometimes, as I'm a cricketer, the shine rubs off the ball.
Well, for all those cricket fans, because I don't know what I mean. But I get it.
But I mean, we love, I mean, us as women, we want to hear what we want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just, getting to know a guy and he's promising us the world and stuff, of course we're going to go for that person rather than someone else who would say, okay, let's just take our time and build. No, we want the fast lane. We want the car now. We want the house now. We just want everything right now. And when it don't work out, it just,
So I think, that yes, some women, they do just want the, everything right now. And then there's some women that they take the time and they build and they assess the situation and say, do I really want to be taking these things from this man so quickly, because I don't know what it's leading to, because a lot of times you enter in a relationship like that and the man is giving. You don't know what it's leading to.
Right.
You don't know what it's coming with. So you also have to think about that as a woman, because sometimes men don't always give because they're really giving. They're giving to get.
Right.
There's always not always. Let me take it back, guys. I'm not saying that. Sometimes they are doing it with an ulterior motive. And sometimes you have to assess and see if they're really giving because they really want to give and they feel like, she deserves this and she work hard. So I go, my sister, she work hard. But me, show her, say, give her flowers now, So.
And under what condition too, you're giving to hype or something like.
That's another thing.
When someone is genuinely giving you something, you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Different from when they're just giving you to just floss and flaunt stuff.
Right.
Because if a man can genuinely afford to give you stuff, it's not really coming from his heart.
Yeah.
Him just give it because him can afford it. And honestly, it don't really mean nothing much.
Right.
But when a hardworking man is going to take his money and give you stuff, he really, really, genuinely wants you to be happy.
So guys, we were, talking about the negative and the positive of a man giving. And let's just also note that it's not just a man. There's also positive and negative of a woman giving to a man.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes she's giving to get.
Yes.
Not necessarily in a positive way because, I really like this person, but because she feel like she can get him money, right? And then there are men now who give them money because they know so. Once them throw it at these young girls, then will take it and then will do anything it takes to get there because I figure this man can get them to where they really want to get to. And they don't understand what the real cost is.
Absolutely.
What it really can cost them.
Right.
What it really can cost them is bigger than the money.
Yeah.
So I just want us to give that advice to people to just be honest about if you're going to enter into a relationship, seriously, not just whatever. You're entering into a relationship seriously. You have that discussion with your partner.
Absolutely.
You have that discussion so you guys can be on the same stance, be aligned, whether we're going to be 50-50, whether you're going to be the breadwinner as you are, old school. I love that. I believe in the old. I believe in the old school mentality.
Yeah.
I believe that wholeheartedly. Not saying I'm not going to go to and work because I'm hardworking. I'm going to go and do my thing and, make sure say I'm good. But I believe that a man should be a man. You should allow the man to be a man and take care of him home. And you should allow a woman to be a woman and nurture her home and her husband.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. I
Even if it's not our
100%.
husband, just also want to clarify.
Yes.
Because we have to start doing things before you get there. Yes. Which is why I always wonder why people say women or men change after marriage. You shouldn't, because if you're doing the same thing you were doing before, why a piece of paper change anything?
I have a perspective on that.
Give that perspective because me not understand how that change.
You oftentimes you'll see persons who are in a relationship for a long while and they're happy. And the minute they get married, things change.
Right.
Now, why is that so? In my view, if you view marriage as a finish line, then it means everything you're doing to get to the finish line is not necessarily real. You're doing all the necessary things so that you can cross the line. Now, what tends to happen is that once you cross the line, then the race is finished. Therefore, all the things that you were doing before, you've stopped.
Right.
But all the things that you were doing before were now the things that expectations would have been set by both parties.
Right.
So you were doing this, I still expect that, but you stopped. Before that, you were providing this, but now you reach to the goal post or the finish line, you stop. And then what you find is that
So the goalpost is the marriage.
the goalpost in the marriage and not the relationship.
So we're not supposed to keep doing what we're doing.
So I've always said to people,
I think you should keep dating the person that you're with.
an attorney said this in university when I was there, and it never left my mind. He said, marriage is nothing but a contract.
I agree.
Don't confuse love with it.
I agree.
So when I got married,
Is a piece of paper. The only difference is you're signing a piece of paper.
Absolutely.
That's the only difference.
So
why did you allow the piece of paper to change how you were treating the person you were with before? Say the man was providing before and doing certain things before you were married. Why when you're married now, I tell you, say, no, you need to go to this and me need to go. No, brother, you was doing it before where you stopped from.
Yeah, but I think people tend to like confuse marriage and relationship is the same thing.
But which is what I'm saying.
So, for example, in a normal relationship and in a marriage, you are gonna have ups and downs.
Right.
At times, the relationship will get boring, just like the marriage are gonna get boring. But in the relationship, people tend to work on it and try, work it out and, say,
Because
not
relationships
date
are
and
hard.
go out.
Marriage is hard.
But a marriage, it shouldn't be hard. It should be the same thing because it's me.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said
married.
relationships are hard and marriages are hard. I'm not saying a marriage is hard and a relationship isn't hard. I'm saying it takes work to make your relationship work. So it should also take the same work the same effort you're putting into your relationship to keep your man and for you to keep your woman. It should be the same energy you're putting in to your husband and to your wife.
The men and women should work together because before we were married, I used to wear some, lingerie, wear short up, and I used to send you some texts and, send you a little video and you look a picture of them. Since we get married, I start wearing this big old t-shirt, coming to bed. No look a picture, no look a video, no look a niceness. I go to my bed from as news done, 8 o'clock, I go to my bed.
No, sir.
No wine, we not drink no wine, we not
Nothing.
Watch
Boring.
a movie. Cause guess
Who
what?
wants that?
I have the ring on my finger. I'm the wife. I don't care what you want to do. I'm still the wife. No, it shouldn't
Nobody
be like
wants
that.
that. Nobody wants that.
Exactly.
That's why I say you should continue to date the person that you're with because you were doing that all along in your relationship. So it shouldn't stop as the ring up on the finger and as you sign the contract. That should not stop. It should continue.
exactly.
Nothing has changed. All you did was sign a piece of paper. So everything you did in your relationship should continue into your
But
marriage.
as I said, it's up to the men and the women.
And I'm telling you
to just
right now,
come
if
together.
me in a relationship and the man decides to him gonna stop all doing all of what him did I do in the relationship, me I left him, me I left him. Cause same way you talk about rape, me I left him. Because I'm expecting the same treatment you are giving me in the relationship or more. If anything, we're supposed to get more, not less.
Absolutely.
Not stop in.
Totally.
Right.
You mad? We should all get more money. Anyways, on that note, guys, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. But on that note, this was a good conversation, and I feel like it's very important for people in relationships to discuss finances because it is a big factor. It's one of the major factors that the statistics have shown that this is the leading reason for divorce in relationships and even in marriages, and the leading statistic for breakups.
Right.
Because people are not honest about their situation and people put on and say they can and they can do it and they cannot. man and woman. And people just need to be honest and frank. And if them people them want stay, them stay. If them want go, them go.
Absolutely.
You know, they have to impress nobody.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So, it is what it is, JA. And on that note, thanks guys for coming.
You're welcome.
And make sure to subscribe to It Is What It Is JA, like, share, and comment. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok on It Is What It Is JA. I am your host, Blair Milan, and I was styled by Karmen's Collection. See you next time.